Welcome into this week's edition of the Co-Lin Coaches Show. We're all about our spring sports from here until the end of the year. And first up is baseball. And joining me is our head baseball coach, Adam Chamblee. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Yep, glad to be here.
And Coach, coming off a week where you went 2-2, feel like you could have gone 4-0 if a few things had rolled your way. Unfortunately, those didn't happen, but you still got a couple of wins, got a couple of big splits. Anytime you split in conference play in this conference, it's huge. You know, avoiding those sweeps is always ideal. You'd like to get the sweeps, but again, at least you got 2 wins in the week.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. Avoiding the sweeps or any sweep is a big deal. You know, yeah, I mean, we had some tough games and some things maybe not go our way necessarily, and but our guys still fought through, and you know, like you said, split the week, and you know, not necessarily playing our best baseball right now, I guess, if we're being completely honest. And if you can not play your best baseball and still come out with some splits, hopefully that says, hey, once we get it figured back out, who knows what it looks like at that point. But, yeah, proud to be, 2-2. Wish it was a little better, but right now, you know, things are – you kind of hit those bumps in the road a little bit, and it is what it is.
So you look at last week, you started with a doubleheader against Kahoma. This was the first split, and games that, you know, when you look at them, you go, game one was 17-1 in the Wolves' favor. It was 10-1 until the ninth when you scored 7. We'll dive deep into it in a second, and 4-3 in game 2. And, you know, a lot of people will see those and they'll kind of scratch their head and go, how does that happen? And I'll tell people all the time, it's not a rarity in this league. You see it more often than not. In fact, every team will have one like that. You'll see it, and they'll have one where they won it by 5, 6, 7 runs, and then another one will be 2 or 3, and they may lose that one. So, you know, not a rarity to those of us who've been in the league a little while, but your thoughts overall on that one, and we'll start with that 17-1 game, a game where, you know, it says that you dominated, and you did kind of throughout the whole thing, but again, as I mentioned, it was 10-1 going into that final inning, and that's where you got that 17-1 after the 7-run ninth.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it is – yeah, it's really tough in our league. You know, 7-inning baseball games are really tough, and it's more of a mental thing than anything. You know, you win a 17-1 game that obviously you have control of pretty much the whole time, and then you have to look at the team and say, hey, now in 30 minutes we've got to go play another one that, you know, nothing we did in that first one's going to help us in this second one. It's back to 0-0. You got to lock it back in, and you got to go compete. Like it's really tough to do, but I mean, we're all doing it. You know, like every team in our league is obviously playing by the same rules, same schedule format, and all that. So, you know, it's just part of it. And unfortunately, 7-inning games, I'm not just a huge fan of, but it's once again, it's part of it. So it's tough.
And you look at game 1 again, you scored 2 in the second, 3 in the third. Their only run came in the fourth. Again, in the 6th, you scored 2, scored 3 in the 7th. That's where the 10 came from. And then the 7-run ninth. The 7-run ninth really highlighted by that home run by Sam Cook. That kind of put the bow on everything for you, really kind of sealed everything away. And you look at the individual score, 16 hits, 3 of each from Tucker and Sam Cook. 2 from Trey Davidson and Avery Griffin. Trey had a double in this one as well, too. And then your pitching lines, outstanding performances from both pitchers. Cohen Weinhofer comes in, gets the win, gives you 7 solid, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. And D. Morgan making his season debut, coming off a little bit of an injury that he had to rehab. We're glad to have him back for sure. 2 innings, only gave up 1 hit and had 3 strikeouts. So a solid outing on the mound for both pitchers.
Yeah, I thought they – obviously, both did a good job. Cohen competed, and then, like you mentioned, you know, really good to get D back on the mound or get him on the mound for the first time this year in a game. Just another guy that's going to go out there and compete always, and obviously threw a ton of quality innings for us last year. So getting him back now is a big deal for us. So it's really good to see.
And then you look at game 2, a 4-3 ball game, in a game where, if I'm not mistaken, both teams scored 2 in the second inning, and both teams taking advantage of errors in that inning as well, too. Or at least the Wolves took advantage of errors to score theirs. They scored 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and then Wolves scored 1 in the 7th, had the tying run on base, had the go-ahead run at the plate, and unfortunately, like the fielder's choice and the strikeout just had that rally come up short. And you look at this one, and you got to think, man, it really stinks that it was 4-3, but it was good to see the guys fight back the whole time. Had opportunities throughout that game, just couldn't find a way to get that hit to go through. It seemed like everything we hit went right to a glove during that game.
Yeah, that's the other thing that sometimes it's. I mean, we've all heard this 1,000 times. You know, it's baseball. Sometimes it's just baseball, and I guess that's almost the beautiful thing about baseball is that anybody can beat. You know, anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and there are a lot of things, unfortunately, that are out of your control. You control the thing that you can, which is barrel a ball up, but you can't necessarily say, "Hey, go in this spot." You know. So, yeah, we hit several balls really hard right at people. And to credit, I mean, Coahoma, they made the plays. You know, they played solid defense in that one behind their guy who threw strikes. And, you know, he pitched to his strength. You know, he's a guy that's going to pitch to contact, and hopefully you do exactly what we did. He's okay with you hitting some balls hard as long as they turn into outs. So it was just one of those games, you know, and then once again to reiterate the fact that it's a shorter game. You know, it's a 7-inning game, and it's not 9 innings. And, you know, I don't think that's an excuse by any means, but it just is a shorter game. And we couldn't get him out, and it was baseball, you know, so that's kind of how it worked out.
And you look at this one, 7 hits in this one, 2 apiece from Reese Thomas and Caleb Brooks, Avery Griffin with a double. And in this one, we got to talk about something we haven't had to talk about all year, a Jennings-Kimbrell loss. Kind of a little bit of a head-scratching thing because you look at the stat line, 4 innings pitched, not the most that he's pitched, 7 hits. That might be the most hits he's given up. 4 runs, 3 of those earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. The walks and strikeouts are about where you normally see him. He's usually, a little bit ahead in his strikeouts to his walks, but not a high strikeout number for Jennings usually. But just a game where it felt like, I talked to you and Coach Fless, like everything that they hit if it was a slow chopper, it found its way through, and that's where 7 hits. And I think that may be the most frustrating thing for you is knowing Jennings did what Jennings always does, and Jennings did what he needed to do to get the win. And unfortunately, this time it just didn't work out. And Nash Sturdivant comes in, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts. Nash did what Nash does. But so you look at this and you go as a coach. No, you're not necessarily upset with those lines because those are not terrible lines. It like you said though, sometimes that's just baseball.
Yeah, I mean Jennings. I hate to say was maybe due for a loss, but he's done so much and done so well that sometimes you just don't have it, or somebody's got your number on that day. One of the things going back to it being baseball is that I want to say maybe the first 2-run inning all happened with 2 outs, and we had 2 strikes on the hitter. Jennings executes a pitch fairly well, and I think their guy just stuck his bat out and hits a low line drive over first base. Lucas goes full extension to try and make the play. Great effort. And unfortunately, it may have even hit off his glove. I don't know, but he gave everything he had to make the play. We don't make that play, and then the next thing you know, that's when it kind of moved. May have walked the next guy, and then it was like a hit. And it just all happened with 2 outs, and you were so close. I guess if that doesn't happen, either we punch the guy out or Lucas makes a great play to save the inning, then we win a 3-2 game. So it just it's that way. It comes down to just one play, certain plays, and but great effort. No doubt that Jennings-Kimbrell is going to go out there and compete his tail off every single time he steps on the mound. And Nash was the other guy, really clean outings. He's going to compete every time he goes out there. So it wasn't that kind of thing. It was just unfortunate,
And then you fast forward to this past Friday. Games that were supposed to be played Saturday, but obviously with the weather that came through the area, moved those up a day ahead. A very smart thing to do, not looking back at it now. But and you look at these, and you lost the first one 11-9. You rebounded and got a 3-0 shutout in Game 2. We'll talk about Game 1 first. And this is a game where you look at it and you circle the 4th inning. And I say you circle the 4th inning because that's really the inning that did it for you, or that did the Wolves in. They scored 1 in the 3rd, 5 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Wolves scored 5 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th, had opportunities to win it in the 9th, and unfortunately just had a couple of hard luck outs go behind you to end that late rally. But you really want to kind of focus in on that 4th inning. That was an inning where they scored 5 runs. all 5 of them come after you should have got out of the inning. You had back-to-back errors that allowed 4 of the 5 to score on 2 of those plays. And, I told people, I said that the one that's frustrating the most is, I think you had in this one 11 walks, and you look at it and go, even with the 11 walks, if you don't have those 2 errors, you still find a way to win this game 8-6 based off the earned runs. Yeah. And I think that's probably the most frustrating thing out of this first game.
Yeah, it is. It was a pretty tough game for us. Just did some things that were really uncharacteristic of how we have played so far. Our defense has been really good. Specifically to go to, I was looking at team stats, like we're second in the conference in fielding percentage, right behind Pearl River, I think. And so we've played really good defense. And the 2 guys that make error, Trey Davidson, who I'd put up against anybody at third base, makes an error. He's human too. Evan Holyfield's played solid, very solid at second base and makes a throwing error, and they just came at bad times. And, those things are going to happen. But it was really good to see us battle back. But I wish that we had never gotten that far behind. We just made some mistakes and didn't pitch it great. Obviously, not a good combination of things there, and was hoping to see us come out with a little more fire after losing, a 1-run game with Coahoma. Was hoping that we would, and I don't know, it just went how it went, and but it was really good to see us come back, which we've done that a lot this year. I don't think our guys are ever going to lay down and just give up by any means, but it would be nice to not hey, let's score those and not have to be behind when we score them, and you probably win that game like you mentioned. So
maybe let's score them in the first and second and not wait till the 7th. It's great to score them in the 7th and 8th too, but hey, if you jump ahead, you get some teams who you jump on a team, you kind of find a way to maybe take them out of the game early. And It's hard to believe. You look at this one and it's 11-9 and hits were 10-8 in their favor, but at one point going into the bottom of the 6th, it was 10-0 and the Wolves had 1 hit. And to come back and have 11-9, that just shows you the fight this team has. And we mentioned it, 8 hits, 2 apiece from Trey Davidson and Evan Holyfield. Evan Holyfield, had that error but came up huge when you needed him, had a bases clearing, bases loaded, 3 RBI triple that made it 11-9 in that 4-run 7th. And so, again, had opportunities. He came up again in another big time. Unfortunately, I think struck out in that second one or hit a ground out. Just, again, that's baseball sometimes. And you look at the stat line. Cameron Patterson got the start for this one, took the loss, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 4 runs. Only one of those was earned, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. Carter Leggett came in an inning and a third, and this is a harder stat line for Carter, I think, because he gave up 3 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and those runs, all both errors came while he was pitching. He did what you needed him to do, tried to find a way to get you out of the inning, and unfortunately he got the errors. Tanner Blackwell, Darren Robbins, Jacob Buffalo, Nash Sturdivant all come in with an inning of relief. Tanner, Jacob, and Nash all perfect innings, no scores. Tanner and Nash don't give up a hit. Buffalo gave up 1 hit. Darren gave up 3. He gave up a run, a home run. Unfortunately, Amari Conley put one near into the trees. I think I said on the broadcast, I said, that one was touched, ladies and gentlemen. he hit it, and I think everybody in the stadium knew it. Everybody recorded at least 1 strikeout. Carter had 2. Tanner had 1. Darren had 1. Buffalo with 3. Nash with 3 as well, too. So a game where you struck out 13, you walked 11. Again, those numbers not where the walks number, not where you want to see it, but again, even with 11 walks, you still had ways to win this one. But the good news is that you did rebound for that 3-0 win, and this one was 1-0 for a long, long time. You scored 1 because Dylan Weston hits a leadoff single, works his way around base. Bradley Hanlon comes up with a huge RBI single in the bottom of the 2nd, and it was 1-0 for a long time until the bottom of the 6th. Caleb Brooks draws a walk. Evan Holyfield comes up. First pitch he sees, and he puts it in the trees behind the hitting facility in left field, and that made it 3-0. And this was I think it was a great way to rebound. Not only rebound, get the win, but get the shutout as well too. And you only gave up 2 hits in the game as well. Yeah,
a little bit cleaner of a game, or I guess we talk about complete opposites again in our league. 11-9, and I would say, on the whole day. Obviously we split the day I would even say Holmes' coaching staff was probably not thrilled about how they like the first game both ways was a little ugly in a sense, but it just is what it is again. But yeah, I was glad that we came out in this one, and those guys in relief pitched it as well as they did. D. Morgan and Lucas Harrington, and Rayburn not with the best stuff he's had, but still obviously did enough to give us a chance to win the game. So was definitely happy about the bounce back.
Right. You look at the pitching lines. You mentioned it. Jackson Rayburn got the start, 2 1/3, 2 hits, 5 walks. Didn't have that, same control he showed in his first start against Lansing. 2 strikeouts. D. Morgan comes in and actually gets the win with 2 2/3 in relief. Perfect, no hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. He was electric, I thought, that whole outing. Lucas Harrington comes in, 2 innings, walks 3, strikes out 3. You finish this one 10-8, so you're in that same kind of margin and ratio for your walks and strikeouts as well too. This one just happened to go your way, and so again, as you mentioned, good to see the guys bounce back. But now you turn your attention to what's coming up, and not saying all the MAC games don't matter, but these next 2 that come up feel like they matter. Maybe just a little bit more because of who they're against and who and what it's for. We've got Southwest coming to Sullivan Field on Tuesday. Game time's 3 and 5. The part of the Coca-Cola Classic. The softball doubleheader on Wednesday will be part of that as well too. We're going to preview that with Coach Howard here in a little while on the show. But your thoughts about the Bears? I know we've already seen them a couple of times already, seen them in fall and those kind of things. We know we'll probably see their ace Richard for one of these 2 games. But your thoughts on this and how much it means to be able to keep that bat for another year?
Yeah, you like I said, they definitely mean a little more, I guess. But we're excited about it. Obviously, we know each other pretty well. We know their team. They know our team. So they'll be tough. I think they're also 2-2 in conference. So we're both 2-2, and I think we're very similar groups. I think we're coached very similarly, and I think we have some of the same skill set of players in a sense, and just tough, scrappy, tough outs at the plate. I think what Southwest kind of brings, and then you mentioned facing Dawson Richard. Probably see him in the second game, and he's probably one of the better arms in our league. So that one's going to be tough. We've seen him once, and he got the best of us that day. So we're obviously hoping we can return the favor a little bit. But yeah, it'll be a good one for sure. And then, like you mentioned, hoping to keep that bat here in Wesson. So. And
then you look ahead to on Saturday, you'll go up to Northwest. You'll face a Rangers team that's fresh off a sweep against Pearl River. Don't know if they'll be ranked going into this week. They were ranked starting the week, but new rankings come out on Monday. But right now, the 21st ranked Northwest Rangers. What do we know about that bunch? I know that's a group last year you went up there and lost one really close and lost a heartbreaker in extra innings, and they turned around and won game 2 kind of in a similar fashion as well too. But what do you know about that bunch going up there on Saturday?
Not just a ton so far. Obviously, try not to look too far ahead, but they're all. It's Northwest. They're always good. They're always usually have arms. A little more velocity. But they have their own struggles too. I think right now, and but it's a conference road game that'll always be tough, and they're going to compete. They'll be well coached. All of those good things, but do I think we're capable of winning 2 baseball games against them? Absolutely. I think if we go up there, and we almost did it last year, like you mentioned, and just right there with them and get it done. So, it can be done, and I know we'll play hard. So, but just another tough conference opponent. It's honestly, there's not a single one that you ever go into and that what's going to happen. All scenarios are on the table. You can win 2, lose 2, split. It's that's just the way our league goes, and you got to be pretty mentally tough to get through it.
Right.
So,
in case anybody at home is wondering, does it ever get any easier? No. In any sport, it always just continues to get tough every week. Every week is always a tough week in the MAC, and Lots of good things happening for Co-Lin baseball. Again, they go 2-2 over their first two conference doubleheaders, beating Coahoma 17-1 in Game 1, losing 4-3 in Game 2, lost to Holmes 11-9 in Game 1, and then beat them 3-0 in Game 2. Again, the Wolves will host Southwest as part of the Coca-Cola Classic this Tuesday at 3 and 6. Come on out to Sullivan Field, support the Wolves and cheer them on as they face off against the Bears in that, and then they'll go on the road, face off against Northwest in Senatobia, 2 and 5. Start times for those. I'm Kevin Kyzar, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. Stick with us through the break. We've got softball on tap. We'll talk about how the Lady Wolves did over their conference openers and preview their games against Southwest and Northwest as well, too, after this. Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. It's our softball segment. So joining me now is our head softball coach, Meleah Howard. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here.
And Coach, obviously, since the last time we've talked, you've played 6 games. You've opened conference play. You're 6-0 in conference play. So obviously that means things are going really well. So well, in fact, we're going to talk about an accomplishment from a pitcher that I don't think I've ever seen in my time being with college softball. And Emily Richard has been really special in 2 of her starts. That's who we're going to talk about. But let's talk about those Meridian games first, and we'll talk about the first half of that special accomplishment, a 2-0 perfect game victory for Emily. And even more special is it wasn't just a 5-inning game. This was a complete game, perfect game. She retired all 21 batters she faced, 9 strikeouts. She got a couple of runs in this one. Just talk about that game and talk about how special that moment was.
So yes, Emily did amazing. Defense did amazing. So you can't ask for anything better from your pitcher and your defense. Hitting wise, we struggled a little bit. The wind was blowing in really bad that day. So anything we got under was just a pop-up. But we got 2, and that was enough to get the win. And very thankful for Em having an incredible performance and getting the win.
And then you look at Game 2. This one was 8-2. It was a little bit different style of game. It was scoreless through the first 3 innings. Then you scored 4 in the 4th. They scored their only 2 runs in the 4th, made it 4-2, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Just a really kind of dominating performance offensively. Kind of felt like maybe you figured things out a little bit. And then, of course, Taylor Efferson comes in, gives you 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Keegan McCorkle comes in, an inning in the 3rd, no hits, no runs, 1 strikeout. Just, a really dominating performance in this one. Emory Warren, Kinley Maudaire had 3 of your 13 hits. Olivia Baines had a couple of hits. You had triples from Emory and doubles from Breeley Phillips, Kinley Maudaire, Olivia Baines. Again, you kind of figured it out in Game 2.
Yeah, we got the bats going in Game 2 for sure, and proud of Tay and Keegan for doing their job on the mound and getting the job done.
And then you turn around last Tuesday, you hosted, I think that was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, you hosted Coahoma, and in these, just you saw a couple of games. You win these 27-0, 26-0. Just everything we were doing, we were hitting it hard, hitting it everywhere you could, and it just felt like it was a kind of maybe a David versus Goliath situation for Coahoma in this one, and you look at it. It was a great day offensively. It was an even better day in the circle. You look at Game 1. You had a combined perfect game, 2 innings apiece for Emma Kate Fimiano and Maddie West. Strikeout for EK, 4 strikeouts for Maddie West, and then Noelle Leish comes in, makes her season debut, gives you a perfect 5th inning. Again, just a dominating performance from your pitchers in that one.
Yeah, again, EK got the start in this one, and she set the tone. And then Maddie West, the freshman, come in, did really well. And then Noelle, another freshman, came in and did really well. So I was proud of them for their performance on the mound. And again, solid defense behind them.
And then in Game 2, 26-0, Addison Lindley gets a start in this one. Her second start, her first one came against Northwest Florida State. Did really well in an inning against the Lady Raiders, and then kind of had a little stumble there in that second inning, but came out in this one. Only gave up 1 hit in 5 innings. And the 1 hit was one that just found its way through. We talked about it. I said, well, you're 1 pitch away from having back-to-back perfect games in this one. Addison also had a career-high 9 strikeouts in this one. She was very dominant in the circle for you.
Yeah, really proud of Addie in this game as a freshman. Even though, not a strong strong opponent in Kahoma, but still, it's a conference game, so a little bit of pressure there. So I was really proud of Addie for stepping in and throwing the whole game, and she did really well. I know she was upset about giving up the 1 hit, but still, very good performance by her.
Yeah, and we mentioned the offensive performance. She had a couple of inside the park home runs in that first game. Olivia Baines hit one of those. Carson Huey hit one. Baines left the yard twice, once in each doubleheader. So just a lot of offensive firepower in that game. And then this past weekend, you went and played over at Holmes, games that had to be pushed back to Sunday because of all the weather that came through the area. You win the first game 15-0, and really you scored in every inning. You scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 5 in the fourth, 4 in the fifth. That could be a little tongue twister there when you're going through it. 15 runs on 16 hits, and anytime you get that, you know it's going to be a good day. And this is the other part of the accomplishment. I text some of the SIDs in the conference, and I told them, I said, I don't think I've ever seen a starting pitcher throw a perfect game and then follow that up with a no-hitter. Emily Richard threw a 5-inning no-hitter. She was 3 walks away from another perfect game, but just another dominating performance out of Richard.
Yeah, and I really hope Emily decides to keep that going in that same direction. Hey, let's go do it again.
And you got a home run out of Taylor Efferson. You got a triple out of Breeley Phillips. I think she started the scoring for you, hit that leadoff triple, scored on a single by Baines or a sac fly. Keegan McCorkle, Morgan Chisholm, Taylor Efferson with doubles as well, too, in this one. And then in game 2 was a little bit of a different game. This one was a 4-1 ball game, and it was 4-0 for a long time. Looked like you were going to get back-to-back shutouts. The only scoring they did was a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 7th, and I believe all the runs for the Lady Wolves did come in the second inning. So this one, you had to work for it, but it was good to get that sweep.
It was, and game 1, we did exactly what I like for them to do, is to score every inning. We scored 4 in 1 inning this game and didn't score again the rest of the game, so that was kind of frustrating. We've got to do better about that. But a good defensive performance, good pitching performance. So we got the win, and I told them that's all that matters.
You look at the offense, doubles from Breeley Phillips, Stella Roberts. Again, a pitching performance from Taylor Efferson. Complete game, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. A really dominating performance from Taylor. It looked like the whole time she just felt cool even under the pressure. They got a couple of innings where they had some runners in score position. She said, no sweat, I'll take care of it. And that's what you like to see out of your pitcher, and you hope she can carry that forward.
Yes, and let me tell you, defense made some incredible plays behind her. So our defense has been doing really well. I hope they keep that up. And that helps our pitchers also, knowing that they have a solid defense who's going to make plays behind them and get them out of situations. So.
And now you turn your attention to your upcoming games. We talked about this with Coach Chamblee. I told everybody at home, in case you're wondering, does it get any easier? No, it doesn't. Every opponent is tough, and you start with a tough one. You got to go to Southwest this upcoming Wednesday, part of the Coca-Cola Classic. We know that the bat is up for grabs. Baseball got to take care of business against that bunch as well, too. What are you expecting out of Lady Bears when you go over there? Game times at 3 and 5. I know that's a bunch that's kind of been up and down this year. They've had some pretty good wins. They've had some tough losses, but what do you know about them going into it?
They're going to be competitive, and anytime Co-Lin and Southwest play, it's going to be a good game. Both teams want to win that game really bad, and it's conference, so we need those games. We got to take care of business. But I think they're going to throw some good arms in the circle. They're going to be solid defensively and offensively, and I think whoever performs better is going to win the game.
And then you turn your attention to your first of several ranked matchups coming up. You're going to host the number 9 ranked Rangers out of Northwest, a team that pushed the number 1 team in the nation, Jones, to the distance in 1 game. I believe even swept Pearl River as well, too. So this is a team that's really red hot. They've had a lot of wins over a lot of quality teams. What do you know about that bunch going into Saturday? What are we expecting out of them when they come to Weston?
They're going to play hard. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to have energy. So we just gotta have a little bit more than they do. But it should be a really good game, good series for sure. I'm glad it's at home. So that helps us out. We play really well at home. So definitely need everybody to come out and support in that game. That should be a good day. So
lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolf softball team. Again, they're 6-0 to start conference play. Sweeps of Meridian, Kahoma, Holmes, 2-0, 8-2, 27-0, 26-0, 15-0. Wow, that's a lot of zeros in there and a lot of no scoring there for a while. And then 4-1 in their last win doubleheaders against Southwest and Northwest coming up this week. Again, Southwest on the road at Summit, 3 and 5 for the start times there. The Rangers will come to Weston on Saturday, 1 and 3 start times. We'll give you all the streaming information as we have it available. Of course, we'll have the home game stream for you. I'll be on the call for that one. We look forward to having you at the ballpark, but if you can't come out, always enjoy the stream as well too. Don't forget, tennis also in action this week. They host Holmes on Tuesday and then host Meridian on Friday. The Meridian matches will be at 11, the Holmes matches at 2 p.m. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Kevin Kyzar, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin, and we'll talk to you next week.